and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by my lovely hosts, Kim Ponticello and Johnny Paulus.
Hello.
Johnny.
You called us lovely.
You guys are. Johnny.
Yeah.
You're looking energized and refreshed.
I've been back on the Twitch stream train. I've streamed for the last 3 nights in a row, I think.
You have. I've gotten the notifications at least. By the time you've been live, I've been nighty night.
Dude, Marvel Snap has me in a fucking death lock right now.
And a death lock.
Can't stop.
Yeah, I've been playing an absolute ton of it this past week myself. It's feeling pretty good with the new update. So,
well, I can't think of a time where they've ever said, "Hey, it's patch day and new season. Here's 2 new cards." It's always like really, one a week.
They're really trying to get you to open up that wallet, spend some money. Kim.
Yes.
Welcome in. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Everything's wonderful.
Everything's good now. I had like the most stressful night last night and a super stressful morning this morning. And then my community came along and they were like it was just I had such a great stream this morning and so much fun with everybody. And then my cousin, who is like the son of the person who caused my stress, was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in years. How about as a late Christmas gift, I fly you out to visit me in Washington State?" And I literally started crying on stream because he like sent me the text while I was streaming. So yes, I am fantastic now.
Hell yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I was tuned in from my desk at work, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "Oh, yep, here it comes." Here it comes.
I'm such a crier. I'm such a happy crier. I really am. So yeah, I'm super excited because I really miss greenery. I really miss water. For those of you who don't know, I live in the desert. And so I just miss life, and I miss my cousin. He's like a brother to me and I miss him dearly. So it's going to be super fun. I'm so yes, I'm great now.
Yes. Now things are better. Well, that's
last night I wanted to strangle somebody.
Yeah. This week I put on my big boy pants and started my new big boy job. And it's been pretty great so far. It's the usual, like, it's been so long since I had to, do the career switch and like just remembering, your first few days when you're in a new job, you are basically a potato that's just been plopped in a chair. Yep. And, someone's drawn a big smile on the potato and put a name tag on it so people know the potato's name.
And then it's happy. And then it's happy to be there.
And every once in a while, somebody comes by and says what's up to the new office potato. But generally speaking, people are busy with their day-to-day work and, you don't have time to play with the potato. So I've been going through a little bit of that. But it looks like next week's going to be rather getting into the swing of things, going out, doing some site visits. Already had some big project drawings thrown my way for my AV sales life. So, we're starting slowly, it's like an old steam train. It's starting to pick up a little bit and we'll be going here shortly. And, I have to tell you, because a lot of people these days work from home, or a lot of people think like, man, I wish I could work from home. And working from home, there's a lot of great things about it. All right. There's a lot of things that's cool about working from home. But when you've done it for 4 years straight, it is awful. And it is so great to have a 40-minute commute to work where I can sit in my car, nice heated seats on, keeping the tuchus warm, listening to some podcasts, probably where some of y'all are listening to us right now, is fantastic. And it's really nice to have that time. And then being in an office where if you need an immediate response from someone, you don't have to pick up your phone, call, and pray that they call you back or answer. You just walk over to their desk and say, hey, I need an XYZ. Okay, cool. Here you go. It's so efficient. And yeah, I'd completely forgotten what that was like, because it has been over 1,000 days since I've had anything like that. So, yeah, I got to say, it's nice. It's nice being back in an office, even though the threat of the vid still's lurking off in the corner. But I've got my blinders on and just, you hope for the best, I guess. That's the only way forward. And I'm actually playing a show this weekend. I'm sounding like Johnny all of a sudden. It's like,
Hey, look at you.
The place that I will forever call the old Sharkies in Annapolis.
Oh, it has another name now?
Now it's called Vibe.
Hey.
That place has gone through fucking like 12 names.
It really has, but no, it's they're back up and swinging and finally booking like real bands and stuff. So,
cool.
Yeah, excited to get out and do that. It's been a while since I've played with something that wasn't an orchestra or a church. So,
and I gave you my set list.
You did, and I will start grinding through that, and yeah, get to play some music with your boy Johnny Paulus.
That'd be fun.
Yes. So I think that's all the life updates I've got. This is a podcast about video games, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about nothing but video games today. Welcome in. This is episode 145 of your Power Gamer podcast. As always, we like to start off by thanking you for the tremendous support that we saw, especially over this past week. Holy shit, guys.
Yeah.
All in return, we just ask, if you're checking us out on YouTube, please subscribe to our page. I've noticed looking at the analytics, okay, that very few of the people overall on YouTube are returning people. So we're people are coming in, they're liking what we're putting down, and they're staying for a while, but then they're scallywags and they're leaving without a like, a subscribe, just nothing. And that's cool, you freeloading bastard. However,
look here, you sons of bitches.
Listen,
it takes just as much effort to click the like and subscribe button as it does the next video that you're going to watch. So
we need validation.
Before you watch some girl shaking her ass in yoga pants, click like and subscribe on our page. That way you can come back to us after you're done watching that booty bounce. Okay, you can come
Booties
back.
Are nice.
I'm not hating. They're all over the place on YouTube. It's the Booty Bounce channel. But here we talk about games, so when your mom comes in the room, you don't have to hide us. We're not gonna do anything that gets you in trouble.
Sometimes.
No guarantees. I mean,
no.
Johnny has been known to drop it like it's hot.
I mean, I think we're good for no ass shaking, but like we're definitely gonna call something a bag of dicks. Like that's gonna happen.
True.
Yeah. The bag of dicks is maybe not this episode.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think so.
We're pretty safe. So we're going to start off this week's episode by talking about the games we've been playing. It's shake things up a bit. I think it's been a while since I gave Johnny the go first pass. So, without further ado, Johnny, what have you been playing this week?
So the kids got some Christmas money burning a hole in their pocket, and we're talking about going to GameStop like all week. So finally Saturday, Daddy's off. Let's go to GameStop. And so I took the boys, and Liam, my oldest, found Gloomhaven from PS5, and he's a big D&D nut. So he's looking at the box and is like, I think this looks like exactly something that I would be into. And especially like he loves turn-based games. He's like me, like he loves XCOM. He loves Midnight Suns. Like that's his shit. And I'm like, I agree, Liam. I think this is probably a game that you would enjoy. And the one on PS5 comes with like all the DLC. So it's like it says on the back of the box, like there's like 250 solo campaign missions across all the DLCs and everything. I'm like, that's a lot of stuff to play. So him and I were sitting down trying to learn it, and this game is fucking impossibly hard. It is so fucking hard. I put it on like infant toddler setting with like, it has the pacifier in the mouth and could not get past the first level. Dude, Gloomhaven is rough. So it's all about balancing. So you have cards and you build your deck. And then when you go into battle, each one of these cards have like a primary ability and a secondary ability. And each turn you select 2 cards and you can only use 1 primary and 1 secondary. So if you want to move and attack the guy, you have to have a card where, the primary is move and then the other one where the secondary is attack, or vice versa. But then after you've used that card, you can't use it again until you rest. And it's really, really hard. I feel like I need to watch like a YouTube video on it so I can make my 12-year-old kid, he's not 13 yet, he's almost 13. My 12-year-old kid not regret his $40 purchase, because right now he's kind of upset about it. So
you could make him feel maybe somewhat better that he didn't make the $200 investment in the actual board game.
Yeah,
because the box that thing comes in,
I've seen it,
fucking huge.
Yeah,
it's a big bad boy.
So yeah, I still feel like there's something I'm missing there, but I will say, I think it's a really tight package. I like the art style, I liked the music, I liked the narration, I like, like everything else other than the fact that I've tried the first mission 4 times and failed fucking miserably all 4 times. Like, not even gotten close to getting through it all. I don't see how it's physically possible to get through it all.
That tight package keeps you coming back, eh?
Yeah, that's how it works. Those bags of dicks, they get me every time.
It's that thermal paste.
That's right. That's right. So I played a little bit of Gloomhaven. I felt so bad for Liam that when I got back to my computer about 2-3 days later, I saw the Gloomhaven, which has been out on PC longer. So it's on. I think I got it for like $15 or something. I was like, fuck it. I just bought it on PC. So now I have it on PC. I can hopefully learn it. And then, like next weekend or whatever, when Liam feels like playing, I'd be like, okay, I think I've figured this out. Because I know it's a game that he would get into, but we have to get over that learning curve, But it's rough.
I know, and just think how good he's gonna feel once he does. You know what I mean? Like that, games like that, once you figure it out and you have those aha moments, he's gonna feel so good when he's like tackling it. It's gonna feel so good for him.
Agreed. So Gloomhaven, played a little bit of that with my kid, and then played a little bit of on my own. Also got 2 more sessions of Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This game's still really tight, feels very much like Far Cry. I'm loving the story. I don't really have anything to add since last week. And like I already mentioned, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap's been kind of taking over my gaming in the last week, between the new card Scar and the new card Kyera, and my little theory crafting brain can't stop. I swear I come up with a new deck in my ADHD brain every like 2 hours, going, wait a minute, if you did Forge into Ebony Maw, then you could have a Scar. Yeah, that would work. Okay. Like I'm always cooking up these little random fucking things in my head. And now that they've added 2 new cards at once, my brain can't handle it. And I'm just like, I have to keep testing deck ideas. So I'm having a blast with Marvel Snap. And lastly, I beat my first game of the year. Deedlit in the Wonder Labyrinth is down. Yeah, this game is fucking awesome. If you are into classic Metroidvanias with a emphasis on the Vania, this is very much a Symphony of the Night art style, Symphony of the Night presentation. It is that, but it is very, very tight. It is very well done. The boss fights are awesome. And then to wrap it all up, the second to last boss fight in the game is basically a boss rush. You have to do pretty much every boss in the whole fucking game in one gamut. And most of the bosses were multiple attempts, so most of them I already kind of knew. You know, in a lot of those games, a boss will feel impossible until you figure out, like, oh, okay, if I do this and then stand here, okay, we're good. So, you know, strong recommend. I'm going to give the game a 8.2. But if you dig Metroidvanias, especially the Castlevania side of that, this is a strong recommend.
Maybe now we can lure you into the last faith.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
So many Metroidvanias I got to get through.
So many Metroidvanias.
So many Metroidvanias I got to get through. And now the freaking Prince of Persia one's right around the corner, too.
I know.
I'm so pumped.
I literally cannot wait.
I can't either.
I can't wait.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait to hear about what you've been playing this week, Cam.
Oh, okay. So transition. So I covered 2 games for publishers this week. I played a game. It's a city builder game called Golbins of Elderstone by Outer Dawn and Lost Goblin. And it was like this super, super chill city builder where you play as a goblin, and like all of your little people are goblins. And you like just build a city, and it was like, it was really chill. The weird part about it though was that like, so you have this king goblin, and in order to increase your number of goblins in your city, you need breeders. So you have like 2 breeder goblins, and so that was a little bit strange because I was like, oh, we need another breeder. And like whatever babies come from that, they're like, they inherit it. So that was a little bit weird. It felt like a little bit like I felt like a little dirty, like, let me give you another breeder. You know what I mean? It was so that part was
there
a little bit
anything
weird.
suggestive about the breeder?
No.
Okay.
You know what the problem is that Kim's been playing Flip Witch. She's seen a lot of goblin dick lately.
Nothing can compare to Flip Witch.
You just can't unsee that.
You can't unsee the goblin dick.
That is exactly where my brain went. When you said goblin breeders, my first thought was like, did they have like big mommy milkers or like...
No, that is in Flip Witch. As a matter of fact, in Flip Witch, I came across a fairy about this big, and her entire body was bubbies. Like gigantic, with these little wings holding her up, and she's like bouncing everywhere.
I need a screenshot of this.
Oh my! I will send you a screenshot. It was absolutely brilliant because I was like, how is she holding herself up? That's amazing.
The wings on her body are smaller than these knockers, dude.
It was amazing. Okay, so
flapping around like wind sails.
Exactly. If she was in the water, she'd be buoyant. Okay, they were gigantic. So another game I covered, which I loved, was called Cookie Cutter, which I will be playing more of. Really cool hand-drawn Metroidvania, and you play as this character who is like, you know, in so many games you play as this like super sexy. You know, like if you're playing as a female, she's like super sexy. No, you're playing as this character named Cherry, who has like the classic, like, I forgot the term, but it's like the skinhead kind of cut, you know? So she has hair in the front and hair down here, and she wears a cap, and she wears her skirt up real high, and her legs are kind of bow-legged, and she's like kind of sassy, and she's freaking adorable, and she wears this really cute red skirt, so as you're jumping around, her skirt's like flapping up, and she has like these big white bloomers on underneath, and she's absolutely adorable. And the game has fantastic gameplay. It's definitely a game I'm going to be playing on stream more because I had so much fun with it. The art is beautiful, the voice acting is phenomenal, and the devs came in to say thank you, which I thought was pretty freaking cool. Like that's a win really in my book. When devs pop into my stream to like say thank you and to see how you're doing and if you're liking the game, it's like that shoots the game right up on my list because it's like you could tell they have a lot of love for their game, you know? So yeah, awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah, that game is by Subcult Joint is the name of the dev company. So yeah, very cool. I highly recommend it if you like Metroidvanias.
Love this art style.
The art style is absolutely stunning. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I love when an indie game comes out that's like, wow, you know, it's so cool. I got to an amazing part of Alan Wake 2. I got to the musical.
Yes.
I loved that entire part. Like, I was literally like bouncing in my seat the whole time I was playing it. It was so good. So yeah, I got to that part of Alan Wake. I'm very, very excited for it. And I'm loving Alan Wake. I actually brought Alan Wake 2 down to story mode instead of normal. Which I'm really happy for. At first, that like when I was playing right before the musical part, I had done one of Saga's parts, and I kind of felt bad because I was like, I feel like the enemies are a little bit too easy now, and I'm getting a lot of stuff now, right? And then I got to the musical part, and I was so thankful I turned it down to story mode, because I think it would have been so disjointed if I had died and had to like start again and had died, because it was just going through the whole thing so fluidly and just taking everything out as I was going was so cool. It was honestly so cool. That game was amazing.
I did pick it up.
You did.
I to put a kibosh on our little discussion from last week. I bought it on the Epic Game Store with their Monster or Mega Holiday coupon.
Stupid coupon
Yep.
deal.
So it's in queue for me.
Nice. It's been a lot of fun. I'm excited to play more. It's been a really fun game to play at night, so I'm having a good time with that. And then my final game this week, which I completed today, my first game that I finished in 2024, is The Stick of Truth. I can't even describe how much fun I had playing this game. I don't know that I've ever had so much fun playing a game. That game has no right being as good as it is. It really has no right. It is astounding. And the fights, the fact that I had to fight a famous fetus is like like, what is even happening? The game was every second. My expression throughout the game was this every time, because it was.
Yep.
I'm like, what am I doing? What do I really want to open this door? Of course I want to open this door. What is he doing? Oh my God. It was.
There's some guy jerking off on the couch.
I mean, that wasn't even the worst one.
I know.
Wasn't even the worst one. And everybody on Instagram and YouTube warned me. They were like, did you find the horse yet? I was like, find the horse yet? I found the horse. Wow. Like, I cannot say enough about how fun that game was. And I'm very excited to start. I'm starting Fractured Butthole this upcoming week. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. My list again is short, but I'm feeling it, guys. I'm getting back into the groove. You know, I've kind of had a lull for the past 2.5 weeks, but the groove is coming back, where the Game Slayer shall once again go on a roll here in 2024. So, I did not play a ton of Star Citizen, but I did play a little bit, and I got locked up in jail because I murdered someone.
Naughty. Yeah, but you like doing the naughty stuff in Star Citizen. I've seen you play it.
I murdered the shit out of some poor kid just trying to carry a box back to his starship. I'm like, that box looks like it belongs on my ship.
What's in the box?
I don't feel too bad because he was carrying a box of hard-ass space drugs. But yeah, I totally shot this poor kid in the face and took his box and sold it. And then I turned myself in before I logged off so I could just serve my prison sentence while I was offline. So, I fucking love Star Citizen right now. It is so good right now.
That's
it's
fucking hilarious.
Definitely the best it's ever been. So, I have like fucking Elon Musk money in this game. I bought every single ship, and I just roll around whenever I need a little stimulus to my personal economy. I just go out in my reclaimer, munch a couple ships, and it's like, I magically have 7 million credits again, which is a dumb amount of money in this game. Like, a new player coming in, like if you just came in with the starter ship, you know, you're like, oh man, listen to Mike talk about Star Citizen is really cool. I'm going to go check it out. And you get to the website and you make it through the store and you're like, all right, I'm going to buy the base game and a Drake cutter. If you were to try and make $7 million in that little Drake cutter of yours, it would take probably 2 months. I can do it in 1 hour. It's fucking crazy. So what I do is, like, when I do want to play it, I'll hop online. I'll go into general chat. You know, it's typical MMO. There's a gen chat where people just say racist and horrible things to each other nonstop. But every once in a while, somebody says something cool like,
Is it
hey,
really
do you
that
want to
bad?
come? Any game with general chat is that bad because it's all the same people just migrating from one game to the next.
Yes, that was real nice.
So I just go in and say, hey, who wants to come for a ride on my reclaimer and make some money? And, you know, inevitably somebody will go, I do. You know, some poor bastard with the Drake cutter that's can't even dream of what he's about to earn on this ship. I go, okay, cool. Your job, go stand in the back. It's going to spit out boxes. You just stack the fucking boxes. Just stack the boxes while I'm flying around doing my thing. It's going to be real boring for you. But trust me, it's going to be worth it. So I had this kid come on. He's back there. He's stacking. He's stacking like a goddamn pro. So I get and go sell all this scrap that we've collected. And it's one run, 1 hour. And he stacked them so efficiently that I made 9 million credits in this hour.
Oh my God.
And so I open up my thing to send him his paycheck. And I go, all right, sent you your pay. Hope you like it. I'm taking off. Take care. And so I hear him on the game chat. He opens it up. He goes, what the fuck?
How much
did you give him?
I gave him 5 million credits.
Oh, shit.
That's awesome.
It's like, I don't fucking need it. I've got I've got a money printing spaceship.
Yeah.
So he just goes, holy fucking shit. Because now you can basically buy anything that he's been wanting, you know?
That's so cool.
And so I can basically do that anytime I log into the game, and it's very feel good. So played a little Star Citizen, but the game that is going to be dominating my time moving forward, going to take a little break from Star Citizen, maybe do some philanthropic reclaimer runs on the weekend. But the game that's going to be dominating my time is undoubtedly Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I started this game this week, cracked the plastic on a fresh new PS5 disc that was given to me for Christmas. Flipped it into performance mode on my PS5, planted my ass on the couch. And I was just about to start the game and I went, you know what? Let's stop for a second. I had never seen the Avatar movie, so I was like, it's on Disney Plus.
You hadn't seen any? You hadn't? Oh my God.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
So I sat my ass down and watched the first Avatar movie, and holy fuck, that shit's awesome. I love Avatar.
So fucking good.
It's Mike Dawson movie. The shit blows up.
100%.
Okay? And the dude in the RDA with the scars on his side, he's a piece of shit, and he gets what's coming to him, and I love it. And some of the blue people are uncomfortably attractive.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of sat there. I'm like, I did not know this about myself. But that all being said, it was a great movie. And so once I wrapped the movie, I sat down and got in the game. I'm so glad I watched the game because they start dropping movie references left and right. So and it's all like relating to the first movie from what I've seen so far. So I'm like, well, perfect. I've seen what I needed to see. And yeah, so Johnny, you've talked on it a little bit that, you know, it's like a Far Cry game, but with the blue people. That is true. But what makes this game stand out to me is the foliage. Okay.
Yeah.
this world is so goddamn dense.
Yeah.
Like, you stop and look at your map and you're like, okay, I got a general idea where I'm going. And then you use your Navi vision to like kind of see where to go. But like, this bitch is dense. There is tall grass and plants and shit everywhere. And the more you start stopping and just staring at your surroundings for a bit, you're like, huh, this is the most foliage I've ever seen on screen in a video game ever. Easily.
Yeah.
B, it's all moving with like normal physics on each piece of it. Oh, look at that lighting, everything. And you're like, this game just looks mind-bogglingly good. I've never seen, and Ubisoft usually brings the graphics pretty well. Okay, except in Assassin's Creed games for whatever reason, they seem to mail it in on Assassin's Creed games.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Ubisoft.
But they didn't develop.
In terms of their graphics that you see, you tend to get massive. You tend to kind of get phoned in graphics from a lot of their products, or just in the AC realm. But everything else they make is always top tier. This is top tier, like +1. Which I've always loved Ubisoft for that. The other thing that's nice too is everyone talks about the Ubisoft stank, which is when you come into their game that you just got done paying $60, $70 for, that they are just beating you over the head trying to get you to spend more money. Not in this one.
Yeah.
The store's really neatly tucked away in it. And I was like, I got in there, I was like, where's all the extra shit that they're going to try and get me to spend my money on? I actually had to go looking for it.
Yeah.
In one of the menus before I found it. It is there, okay, and it's crazy how much stuff they have for sale in it. But it's not beating you over the head. Like maybe they finally got the MO that's kind of like a widely said thing about them. I don't know, because it would be nice if they changed that a little bit on these pay to play games. So yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Far Cry fan. I thought Far Cry 6 was phenomenal. I thought the game looked great, but this one is just so far the next step forward.
Yep.
And then everything else about it is just great. I mean, the movement, the combat, gunplay, stealth. I really like the stealth in this game. It is fantastic. So, I mean, if you're into Far Cry games, but you're also into blue people, I mean, this is just this is one of those instances where when I'm done playing the game, I'm going to say this had no business being as good as it was.
You guys are both making me want to get it.
Well, I mean, like I said when I first talked about it, I don't know where the mediocre review scores are coming from. This game did not review super well.
No, and what's really interesting too, like in the stream world, like in the Twitchverse, it is not doing well. That game does not do well. Like right now, the most viewers somebody has playing that game is 86.
Yeah.
That's it. And total viewers is like 484 viewers in total for that game. So it's really wild because, and it's so crazy because I know people who have said, yeah, it looks pretty, but it's like, eh. And then I know people who are like, this game is amazing.
If you like Far Cry and if you like Avatar, I think you have to play this game.
I have a month of Ubisoft Plus for free that I
would even say stuff like the world on this game is out of control huge.
Yeah.
You know, even if you just wanted to like hit the ground and explore,
you
know, like a la Skyrim and stuff where the NPCs aren't all, crash test dummies with voice animations.
Yeah.
I mean, this game's really got it all, and it's not hard. It's not nearly as brutal as some of the Far Cry games have been. It's just a good time, and it looks great, and the story and the writing is fantastic. The character development, I mean, just the whole setup in the first hour of the game is fucking phenomenal.
I'm gonna give it a go then.
I
really
like it a lot.
definitely. I mean, this is not what you expect from a licensed product.
Generally, Mike, when you really enjoy a game, it means I'm going to enjoy the game. So
Yeah, it's not cheese. Like this, it's legit. It's really good.
Agreed.
But yeah, check that game out. I'm going to be playing it nonstop over the next week. Like, claws are in. I don't care about anything else. I just want to play that game until I have it finished at this
Nice.
point, kind of thing. Because it's fucking sick. That wraps up what we've been playing this week. Boy, do we have something fun for you. You thought we were done with 2023? Guess again. We are not done until we're done. And this is how we're going to finish it. Between the three of us, we play a lot of goddamn video games. A lot. And a lot of games came out in 2023, and we played a lot of those games. But we play a lot of games that don't come out in the release year as well, because we play that many. So what I thought was appropriate is a lot of places are like, what's your top 10 games of 2023? That's fine and good, but you know those names already. We don't need to hammer over that same shit. I thought what would be more interesting is for each of us to talk about the 10 games, our best 10 games that we played in 2023. So we can talk about the things that we played recently and, just kind of run it in order from goodest to bestest, because all these games are great, and anything that we mention on here, man, we hope it's not in your backlog, because we're about to fill that bitch up.
True that.
These are all great games that everyone should play, but we all played them in the last year. Now, I'll be completely honest, my list is a lot of newer games because I go hard in the paint on new releases. And I didn't play that many games that got into my top 10 that weren't released this past year. I think in total over the past year, I think I beat like 42 games. So I've picked out my 10 best, and Kim and Johnny have as well. I'll get us moving here. Coming in at number 10 for me was Dead Space Remake. Now, first and foremost, with this coming in at number 10, this list is going to be fire, because that game is awesome.
Yeah.
Dead Space Remake really just gave that whole game the facelift it needed, but then went further in all the best possible ways. They cleaned the whole game up and took a game that was already heralded as one of the best horror games of all time, and they elevated it into something different enough to make it wildly better, while not changing it enough to keep it the same. And it's kind of hard for me to go back and play the original release of Dead Space after playing Dead Space Remake, because all the writing, the better use of Isaac in the game, really makes it hard to ignore or go back to play the old version. And I did after I played it. I was like, I kind of forget what the old version looked like. I fired it up on my 360. I'm like, my mind was a lot kinder to the memory of what this game looked like and what most people experience than versus what it actually is.
Yeah.
It's very washed out looking, and I was terrified of shit of it back in the day, but like, you get these modern consoles out with what they do with lighting and stuff, and it's like, man, it really needed, and they did such a good job with it. So Dead Space Remake, I really, really enjoyed my time with that this year, going back in and playing that. Kim, let's go to you next.
Okay.
What's your number 10?
So I did mine. I didn't do mine in order of how much I like them, because I can't commit to that.
Okay.
I have a problem with numbers and committing to those. So instead, I did mine by order that they were beat in 2023. So the first game I beat in 2023 that was my favorite was Last of Us 2. That game was the first game I beat in 2022, And I looked at my list and I'm looking through it, and there were some games that I was like, maybe, but maybe I should replace it with this. But Last of Us 2, I was like, has to go on the list. It was absolutely astounding. I am 100% Team Abby. I'm one of those people. And I know we talked about it last time. The stealth I hated, but in terms of the game as a whole, I liked it more than the first one, which is not, I know that's not a real common thing. I know that's the hot take. But yeah, I really thought it was a beautiful game, and it was so well done. And the voice acting was amazing, and the characters were astounding. And it had like, I love games where your feelings are kind of all over the place. And Last of Us 2 did that. So that's why I had to put it on my list. And I liked that was the first game I beat in 2023.
I disagree with nothing, because that is my favorite number one, like, all time. So, Johnny, what was your? I know you are ranked in order here, sir, because you are that guy.
Yep.
What comes in at number 10 for you?
Midnight Suns. I still need to go back and play all the extra DLC because I did buy the deluxe thing. So I have I still got to play the Morbius, and I got to finish the Deadpool, and I think Venom, and they've added all these characters and shit. But, although I butted heads a little bit with the amount of meat cutes that are in this game, there is way too many meat cutes in this game, and I became frustrated that there's
What's a meat cute?
Either like a romantic couple having a cute hangout moment, or like a bromance where like that it's two people hanging out and like having a moment.
Meat cute. I got it. I was thinking yum meat. Okay, no. Never mind.
The first time he said it, I heard meat cube, and I was just gonna let it ride.
But so
many meat cubes.
So what annoyed me about this game is like the amount of one-on-one interaction with deep conversations and blah, blah, blah. I think of games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age where, you can fuck these characters, right? And in Midnight Suns, ain't nobody fucking nobody. And at some point, it's like, Carol Danvers is right there. She was in a bikini yesterday. Like, we're not going to make a move. She clearly is all about you. She's saying about how much she loves to have you around and blah, blah, blah. And I got so annoyed by it that it had a photo mode. So I would take photos of the characters when they were in their bikinis and stuff. And then I would put them around the house. So as you're going around the mansion, there's a bikini photo of Nico over here. Here's Peter Parker flexing in his bathing suit. I was just trying to sex it up a little bit, but I'm way off topic, but this game is awesome. If you like turn-based combat, if you like XCOM style games, the story is great. There's a shit ton of characters in it. And I really liked it. It's my number 10 game, Midnight Suns.
All right, back to me. My number 9 is a game that I didn't get to during its release year, but that I did get to this year, and that is God of War Ragnarok. This game's phenomenal, and I know it's bad enough accolades probably to last a lifetime, but it's become relevant again because now they've just added this new really, really good free DLC that adds so much content to the game. I watched a little bit of it. I haven't sat down and played it yet, but if you're the dude, it's not just here's Kratos in a room and some enemies. Oh, no. There's like crazy amounts of story. I would say if you haven't started this DLC yet and you haven't played the original trilogy, there is so much tie-in to Spartan Kratos and old characters popping back in and shit that's really awesome, that if you don't have that background, man, you're gonna miss out.
Oh, that's awesome. I've played all of them, so that's dope.
I have not.
A certain sword is back in your possession, Johnny.
Nice.
And it fucking melts everything. You know exactly what I'm talking about. you need to get on that like now. This
I
might
gameflied
be.
that game, so
Oh, you might need to borrow my copy then.
yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, because this is the Johnny Paulus experience here. It's roguelike and it's God of War.
I know. I'm dying.
And there's crazy story and just tons of hours of content. I enjoyed my playthrough of the game. I thought a lot of it was kind of samey to the first game. It was different enough, and the story was just so much like such a elevation over the first Norse game that, I mean, even if there was no combat and I was just watching the cutscenes, I would felt like I got my money's worth. I mean, just top notch writing and execution in God of War Ragnarok. So really enjoyed my time with that game. That is my number 9, and many of you may be revisiting it soon. Kim, back to you.
Yes.
What's next on your list?
So I couldn't pick this one. Again, commitment issues. The Uncharted series. I beat all of them.
They release as one, yeah.
Technically, yeah, kind of.
Okay. You
Yeah,
get a
okay.
pass.
I played all of them. So what happened was, for those of you who don't know, I have a gigantic list of suggested games. And if I have access to the game, I write it on a piece of paper and put it in this bowl. And then I literally pick it out of the bowl, and that's the game I play, that I stream for the, for the community. And I picked out the first Uncharted game. And I was like, okay, I'm going to play the first one, and then I'll fold it back up and I'll put it back in. And when I pick out for the second one, then I'll play it. Absolutely not. I did not want to stop. So I played through all of the Uncharted games, and I fell in love. I loved them. It was such a fun experience. I don't even know how long it took me, because you guys know it takes me forever to finish a game.
You still got through them fairly quickly.
I got through them not so bad, right? Yeah. They were just so much fun. So yeah, that was the next, out of all the games, that was the next one that I was like, yeah, that's just, I mean, I had games in between, like as I was finishing them, but the first like 3 games I think I beat before I moved on to a different game another day of the week. But yeah, it's that definitely had to be put on my list. I love the whole series.
Well, I think that, I think one of the biggest things that makes the Uncharted series so damn good is the pacing. I mean, it's like playing a TV show. It's like there's always something happening. There's always the story is always moving forward. There's always something happening. You don't ever really get that moment of like, well, I don't know what to do now. You might get stuck on a puzzle or something, but like other than that, like what you're supposed to do, you know why you're doing it, and then oh shit, something else is going on. Uncharted is really snappy like that.
I think that's why Lost Legacy had gotten not so fantastic reviews, because you're in the car and you're trying to like go to the next place and figure out where the next thing is. But I actually really loved Lost Legacy. I thought it was great. I liked the story. Same. And I like the relationship between Chloe and Nadine, and I love Nadine. And but I really liked it. So I grouped that in with those two, because I mean, I'm not a Lost Legacy hater. I thought it was it was one of my favorites for what it was. That's why I cannot pick out a favorite of the series. I can't.
I completely agree.
Lost Legacy is my favorite slice of the Uncharted series, honestly. That's to me just, it's fantastic.
So good.
And it kind of like almost ends when or feels like it's almost going to end at a certain point, and then like it doesn't, and goes on, and you're like, man, this is like a legit like whole thing. It's a whole game, but it is just a smidge smaller than like one of the original 2, we'll say. It's a smidge smaller than the first Uncharted, but it makes you want to go back and play more. So
yes.
Johnny, that brings things back to you, sir. What is your number 9?
Oh, how the tables have turned. Chained Echoes, number 9. This was a game that my first week and a half with it, I was so fucking mad at the game and how hard it was that I tweeted the developer, and I was all fucking pissed off at this game. And
wait, you got pissed off at a game? What?
Oh my god, bro, you have no idea. He
tormented me so bad with his rage on this.
I was so fucking angry at this game, and I finally just, because in any other JRPG I've ever played, there is always the opportunity to, well, I just need to go backtrack and level up a little bit. Chained Echoes don't fucking have that. You level up when you kill the shit that you're supposed to kill. That's it. You can't go, let me go back to this part of the map and go grind a couple levels. So no, that's it. So if this is the level that you're going to be at, and that's the amount of potions that you can afford, and you're fucked if that ain't good enough. And it is a pretty tough JRPG. After I figured out the difficulty sliders and I was able to kind of tweak it a little bit, and I didn't tweak it much. I didn't like put it on crazy easy mode. I did tweak it a little bit, but I still really ended up enjoying this game a lot. And considering that the majority of it was made by one guy, it's a pretty impressive achievement. So I think it's still on Game Pass if you're looking for a JRPG to get into. It's
just
not
left.
Just left Game Pass. Bummer. Well, I'm sure it's probably all over Steam for somewhere between 20 and something like that. I'll check actually. But yeah, strong recommend. Chained Echoes was my number 9 for the year. I ended up actually really liking it a lot.
All right. That brings it back to me. And once again, with this being where it is on my list, and I am running an order for myself, tells you just what kind of year we've had. Number 8, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Oh my gosh, this game is so good. All I ever wanted, Resident Evil 4, was to be able to move and shoot. And you gave me so much more.
Yeah.
This game was really rebuilt top to bottom. Not every change to the original did I completely agree with, but I'd say like 95% of the game is just a literal reiteration of the original release. And it's done so well. So well. This new era of Capcom is just absolutely the best. I don't think there's any publishing house that can even fucking sniff their farts right now. They're just so on it. And I mean, Resident Evil 4 Remake, the fact that this game as a just bold-faced remake was in so many, it was in the conversation this year.
Yep.
In Game of the Year discussions everywhere. And it belonged there. That's what's crazy about it. So, I mean, truly, if you've not played Resident Evil 4, let me say a couple things to you real quick. Thing number 1, don't worry that it's Resident Evil 4. You do not need to have played 1, 2, or 3 to jump into Resident Evil 4.
Correct.
Is there some hat tips to Resident Evil 2 in it? Yeah, sure. There's a couple, and they really don't matter at all.
Yeah.
This is just a game that I would say, unless for whatever reason, something about it makes it not your cup of tea. But if you just like video games, or you like horror games, or you like action games, or you like games that are just ridiculously good, I mean, this really has it all. It is super tight, beautiful to look at, wonderful to play. It's one of the greatest games of all time, just made even better. So Resident Evil 4 Remake, really enjoyed my time with that. Comes in at number 8 for me. Kim, let's bounce back to you. What's next on your list here?
Number 8 for me is Dredge.
I want to play this game so bad.
I played it off stream. I didn't stream it. I literally just kind of like zoned out and turned off my lights and hung out and played Dredge, and it's absolutely astounding and so relaxing. Yet once the sun goes down, it is so stressful, but in like the best way possible. You know, the sounds and the art style and the just everything about it is really amazing. And I just started the DLC. I got the DLC and I just started it. It's by far one of the best indie games that has come out in the past few years. It's just so good. It is honestly so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get to that. I kept looking and I'm like, huh, is this on Game Pass? Because like it kind of has something about it. You're like, yeah, that's totally gonna be on here. No,
No.
and it's been killing it just on its own, which makes me want it even more.
Get it. It's one of those games that just get it.
Oh yeah. No, I can't wait to sink my teeth into that game. No pun intended with the sinking of teeth. Johnny, let's bounce back over to you. Man, I'm a little shocked in myself, but this one didn't make it on my list just by a thread.
I had the same thought, and you've put way more hours into this than I have.
Yeah, let's do it.
My number 8 is Starfield. I think we all wanted more out of it, but what we got is still very Bethesda. It is still, there's a lot there. We have a game that I think is going to be modded for the end of time. I mean, I think similar to if I decided that I wanted to go hop back into Oblivion, I could sit here for a day just literally doing nothing but downloading texture packs and mods and all that shit and having a completely different experience than the first time I played it. And I think Starfield has all of that potential. While it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, I still really, really enjoyed Starfield. And I do think that I think it's worth checking out, especially if you like sci-fi stuff and you like, you know, if you've ever fallen in love with an Elder Scrolls game or a Fallout game, this is that same vibe where you go get your mission, you go do your mission, you come back, and there's so many characters and so many storylines and so many paths that you could take. You know, this is one of those games. If I wanted, I could just sit and play Starfield for a year and probably be entertained. Like, there's a lot to do.
There's not that much to do. So what I would say about Starfield
Fair enough.
is that Starfield is like a delicious BLT sandwich.
I love BLTs.
I fucking love BLTs.
One of my favorites.
You get the toasted bread, the nice crisp piece of lettuce on there,
yes,
some fresh thick cut bacon, and then oh no, somebody forgot the tomato. That's Starfield.
What about the
in
mayo?
a nutshell? Is it just everything about it, the whole build up to it, everything about it looks really delicious, but when you take that bite out of it, you realize that it's just not as thick as I wanted it to be. You know, what is there? I would say like that first playthrough of the game, is fucking awesome.
Yep.
And I would advise anyone that sits down with Starfield, don't rush. Do everything your first playthrough, because when you go in the second playthrough and you haven't done that, well, you're going to be a little let down, I think. So just really stick to that first universe before you do New Game Plus. Okay, that's the least spoilerly way I can say it. Don't New Game Plus until you've really gotten your money's worth out of it, and then do it, and you'll see some new things. But yeah, no, Johnny, definitely overall, I mean, this is the game that scratches my nerd itch like none other. I think I sunk 100 hours into this game.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. So,
yep.
Solid pick. Yeah, I'm sad it didn't make my list, but you know what bounced old Starfield off mine? It's this little game called Bramble the Mountain King. Okay. Bramble the Mountain King was not the game I was looking for. It's not the game that I knew I wanted to play, but somebody told me this game's phenomenal. And somebody's Kim. And holy shit. So I'm out on the road doing my cold sales at the old job. And I get to my hotel and I've got it installed on my laptop. I'm like, all right, let's have some fun. Let's play some video games tonight and have some fun. I load in. I'm like, man, this is cute. The music's great. Look at these little gnomes. Oh man, what a wonderful game. And I think about 10 minutes after I had that thought, I'm texting Mickey in our group chat going, I think it was all caps. What the fuck? This game is deeply fucked up. Deeply in ways that you can't possibly imagine until you sit down and experience it yourself. I love this game. It just knocks it out of the park, especially with the music, which music is very important to me in games. It just frames everything so nicely. I can't recommend Bramble strongly enough. I mean, yeah, that's my number 7 on this stacked list. It's ahead of Dead Space Remake, God of War Ragnarok, and Resident Evil 4. Coming from me, that tells you everything that you need to know, I think. But actually, we've got more to say about it because Mickey, it's time for the next game on your list.
Which is funny because my number 7 is Bramble the Mountain King.
No way!
It is. It probably would have, if I would have ranked this in terms of like, favorite at number 1, it would have come in as number 2, probably, I think. I love Bramble. I gushed about it when we talked about our game of the year. And for me, that was my game of the year. It was just a beautiful, dark, disturbing, amazing story that I really was happy to experience. And it was literally just jaw-dropping in all the best ways possible. Yeah.
Yeah, all three of us beat that game this past year.
Yep.
So you got the trifecta in there, Kim. You sunk your talons
she
in.
converted all of us.
I did.
All of us played it, and I know I loved it. Johnny, you liked that game a lot too, I think.
Yeah, it didn't make my top 10, but I liked it a lot, yes.
Yeah. Fantastic game. Definitely go check out Bramble, which I do think is still on the old Game Pass for those that want to try it out there. Johnny, that moves us back to you for your number 7.
My number 7 is Pony Island. Daniel Mullins, developer for Inscription, made a game that you can sit down and beat in a single sitting. I sat down and knocked it out in, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours. I don't know. I lost track of time because I was that engrossed in it. Similar to Inscription, I can't say shit about this game without spoiling it. So I will just say that if you have played Inscription or any other Daniel Mullins game, the theme that plays in your head quite often is, this is a clever son of a bitch that made this game. And you just feel that through every fiber of it, is this guy puts a lot of thought into what he's doing. It's not a half-cocked idea. It's something that every concept, every way that you think it could go, he's going to go 5 levels past that. You go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, and it's like, oh, come up, please. Like, that was day 1 of ideas. Welcome to day 58 of ideas. That's what's actually in the game. Yeah, Pony Island is crazy. You can buy it on Steam for super cheap. It's not going to impress you with the graphics, but it is a very, very interesting concept. And yeah, I mean, considering it's like a 3-hour pixel video game featuring a unicorn that shoots laser beams out of its mouth. Yeah, for me to say it's a 9 and it's in my top 10, I think probably means something. So strong recommend. I'm still waiting on Mike to play this. Mike, you gotta sit down and just play it one evening. It's a short one. It's like 3 hours and you're done, but you gotta play it.
And there's a sequel coming.
Yep.
We learned at the Game Awards. So
trailer looks dope.
All right. Back to me. Spider Mike, doing whatever Spider Mike likes. It's Spider-Man 2, which, yeah, I mean, come on. This game is just fantastic. Top to bottom, some of the best storytelling. And I'm Mr. super critical of anything Marvel, Star Wars, yada, yada. This is what we want. This is what we want.
Yeah.
I want everything Marvel related to be at this bar or above. because this game, story-wise, is just absolute perfection, start to finish. The only time I felt a little poo-poo with Spider-Man 2 was during my first couple of hours with the game, just waiting for it to get going.
Yeah.
Because, here's Mr. Critical of everything Marvel that's been coming out, because I've been inundated with bullshit from them lately. So I was just expecting the worst, and then pleasantly surprised that it got on the tracks and just started rolling and all the way to the end. I platinumed this game on my PlayStation. It was I blinked and felt like the whole thing went by. It was so much fun to play. I just didn't want to stop playing this game at any point in time. Spider-Man 2, strong recommend. Hopefully you don't have to wait for it to come out on PC, and you can play it right away on PlayStation, because that is the game I think that got snubbed hardest at a lot of the Game Awards this year, and certainly deserves a play, because my goodness, is it fantastic. Kim, that brings us back to you. What's the next game on your list?
My number 6 game is the hardest game I've ever played in my life. I died a total of 1,962 times. Ghost Runner. So hard, but so absolutely amazing. It's one of those games where you're on a level, and when you get it done, you're like, yes, because you're like, I fucking did it. And the music has you like the entire time. That game is absolutely astounding. Do I recommend it to everybody? Absolutely not, because I know some people would 100% break a controller, hate me for recommending it, and want to smash their keyboard into a million pieces. But it is by far one of my very, very favorite games, and I'm very excited for Ghost Runner 2. But it's really tough. It's a really tough game.
Yeah. Johnny, have you played Ghost Runner?
I have it on Steam. I played it for 20 minutes.
Man, you would fucking love it once it gets your claws in you.
He would break something.
No. I mean, he might, but he'd also love it.
I think he would love it, but he would probably break something.
Yeah, because I watched you clear most of Neon White, and it's very similar to that, but I don't know. Ghost Runner looks phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't walk away from it going, I'll never play this game again. I just moved on to other things, but I don't know. I tried it. It didn't get its claws in me. So, I mean, it's there. I think it's probably still installed and everything waiting for me. So
I'd pay you $1 to watch you dip your toes back into
All right,
it.
we'll see. My number 6 is Jedi Survivor Star Wars. I love this series a lot. I hope they make many, many more of this series. I want to see Cal Kestis arrive and show up in the actual Star Wars universe proper. I think that would be awesome, and I think the character is worthy of it. Although I did not enjoy Survivor as much as I did Fallen Order. I know this is an opinion that Mike and I differ on. He thought the second one was better. I did not feel that way. I personally prefer the first, but still, it's number 6 on my list, and it's a Star Wars game, and it's badass. And yeah, I mean, the game's dope as fuck. If running around with a lightsaber and doing force powers and deflecting bolts back to stormtroopers and pulling people out of things and throwing them, I mean, it's, I beat the shit out of the Force Unleashed games, and this is sort of a slightly toned down version of that with a much, much, much better story. And yeah, I love this universe that they've kind of crafted on this little side here of kind of what the Jedis were doing between the prequel era into the main trilogy. The first game begins basically right at the end of the prequels of all that shit going down. So it's pretty awesome. I dig it.
Well, funny you should mention it, because my number 5 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This game is infinitely better than Fallen Order in every conceivable fucking way possible. And that's not to say that Fallen Order is a bad game. It just this game builds on it in every single way that you can. And where it does it the best is with its story and presentation, setting the stakes to a new level that Fallen Order just, that was the introduction. And this was just so much more. I mean, the scope, the scale, everything about this game. The puzzles, the combat's still there. But the new additions they made to the combat, the tweaks with the new classes and things, like where you can go like Empire Strikes Back Luke, where you got the blaster and a lightsaber, and how you can mix things up in your talent tree was really, really cool. But it goes without saying that the greatest sequence of events that I've ever witnessed in a video game in my life resides in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And for anyone who's played the game, you know exactly what sequence events I'm talking about, because it's absolutely the most mind-bending shit I've ever seen on a screen with a controller in my hand. So, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, you kick ass. And that's why you get the number 5 slot on my list. That will bring us back to Kim with the next game on yours.
My number 5 is a really cute game, the newest in a series of games called Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy. I've played, first of all, full disclosure, I did get Trine 5 from THQ Nordic. But all the other games I had bought. Like, I love the Trine series. I play through them with my partner. We streamed them. And Trine 5 was by far the best of them all so far, because you have 3 different classes. You have the wizard, you have the knight, and you have the thief. And they all have very different personalities, and you need all of their skills to get through levels. And Trine 5 made the best use of all 3 of them, because in the other games, especially 1 and 2, you can kind of get away with only using maybe 2 of them, and the wizard kind of felt a little bit useless in a lot of ways. But Trine 5, you absolutely had to figure out how to get through things using all 3 characters, and it was so much fun, and the music is beautiful, and the graphics are just absolutely breathtaking. What a fantastic game. And I feel like it's so underrated. I feel like nobody really knows the Trine series.
And ironically enough, they give that game, like all the games in that series, away constantly for free. And it's like, but they keep going. So, I mean, they must be doing well to be on a 5th one. You've got to be doing something right. So
they're so good. They're so good. And they're so well thought out in terms of physics. Yeah. The physics in those games, it's just amazing.
Definitely best played with friends.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah.
Trine series. Johnny, that brings us back to you. What's next on your list?
Number 5 on my list is Hogwarts Legacy. Finally, a new IP that I fucking loved. The biggest thing that plagues most open world games that drives me fucking crazy, which is like, we'll call it the Final Fantasy 16 effect, where every single quest feels like a fetch quest and you're not really all that emotionally invested in it. Hogwarts is the closest, I'd say, like Witcher 3, Valhalla, and then Hogwarts are the 3 open world games I've played where everywhere I go, I meet interesting characters. I care about what they want to do. I want to help them. I'm invested in what's going on and the story in it. And I mean, there's just, I could sit and talk for 2 hours about all the fucking cool side quests that I did in this game. And I love that the first trans character in the Hogwarts universe is introduced in this game. And she's handled very, very well. And I thought that was a pretty nice fuck you to J.K. Rowling, because Sirona is a fucking badass. She runs I think it's called the Hogsmeade bar in the main town right there outside of Hogwarts. And she don't take no shit from nobody. She's fucking awesome. And everybody knows she doesn't take any shit. But Hogwarts Legacy, I mean, I know most of you listening probably played it. This game sold insanely well.
It is officially the best-selling game in the United States for 2023. It outsold Call of Duty.
Wow.
Wow.
It also outsold Call of Duty in Europe.
Wow.
So, I mean, they absolutely killed it. And yes, while giving the finger to the procurer of the series. So, good on Avalanche, man.
And I mean, even having the ability to, when you're creating your character, you can he, she, they, and all of the voice acting reflects that and respects that. So, I mean, I feel like they tried to be as inclusive as possible, but there's still that tie with Rowling.
All that stuff's such a small piece of the game, and I mean, it only comes up because of Rowling. It's much better to hear about the game itself.
Yes.
At this point, because all whenever that gets brought up, it's all the other stuff. So no, it's nice just to hear about the game itself.
Well, just the amount of spells that you have at your disposal, and then I don't even remember what they called it, but that you had your own special hidden room where you could collect different animals. So you'd be out in the wild and you'd find this gorgeous fucking flying beast, and you're like, oh, I gotta bring this fucker home. And you sit and you catch him, and then you bring him back, and then when you go to that place, you have this one like outdoor biome that's like got a beach, and there's another one that's a swamp, and there's another one that's this, and like you can unleash them, and then you can build toy chests and play with your animals and feed your animals and grow them and breed them and have babies, and all of this is on top of this huge crazy fucking open world game with a really, really good story. Like, they're gonna make a sequel, and it's gonna fucking slap hard. This game franchise is not going away. This was a very, very successful video game, and I cannot wait to play the next one.
You make a game that can outsell Call of Duty, yeah,
you're onto something.
Well, you're getting more than one more sequel.
That's very true.
And it'll also be interesting to see what other things Avalanche is able to get into, because, I mean, you do something like this with a licensed product.
Yeah.
Oh, they're probably the hottest commodity on the market right now.
Well, and I have to give them a bit of credit, because I know we were picking on them really hard when they announced how long it was going to be before the Switch version came out, and we were all joking about how bad and terrible the Switch version was going to look. I've pulled up videos on it. It looks fine. I mean, it doesn't look nearly as good, but it looks, in a portable.
What you're saying is it's not Mortal Kombat 1.
No, exactly. No, it's not Mortal Kombat 1. It looks like it is the game. They cranked some of the physics and shit down, but I mean, the game still looks like the game. But no, great villain, great characters. I did so many side quests in this game. I mean, I like blew my mind how much I really enjoyed this game a lot.
Awesome. That brings it back to me with my fourth game on this list. Not a game that was released in 2023. However, easily one of my favorite games of all time. I don't need to harp about it too much today because I've done so much in the past. Triangle Strategy. You win an award, Triangle Strategy. You win an award for having the dumbest fucking name ever.
So true.
I had to look it up, and once I looked it up, I was like, what?
That being said, the name makes sense to someone who's played the game, and the game is so amazing. I played this, I think it was in January or February of 2023. I still know every character in that game's name and think about them randomly all the time.
More than you think about the blue people?
Way more. The characters in Triangle Strategy, I mean, they are iconic. They're done so well. It'll stay with you for a very long time. Definitely. If you like anything about Japanese RPGs, play Triangle Strategy. It will just absolutely dominate whatever else you have going on. It is so good. Kim, that'll bring us back to you for another all-time great game. What's next on your list?
My number 4 is Shadow of the Colossus. From the minute I climbed the first Colossus, I was in love with this game because it's so different. I still haven't played any other game like it, and I still think about the look of the fur, like as you're climbing up, and just the fur moving, and all the different looks of the Colossus, and camera angles alone. Yes, the camera angles sometimes drove me absolutely batty, and trying to do combat on the horse was one of the worst things. And we're not going to talk about the horse. That game was astounding, and I'm so glad I picked it from my bowl because I put it off for so long, and I'm glad I finally played it.
It is an all-time great game, and
Yes.
just astounding that it came out on the PS2.
Yeah. Yep.
Johnny, let's slap it back over to you. Coming
Spider-Man
in at number
2. I'm going to put this at my number 4. I don't really have anything to add outside of what Mike has already said. I agree with everything that he said. This is what a superhero game should be. This is now the single greatest superhero video game franchise ever. Like, best trilogy done. Forget about it. Arkham had a nice little run there, but Spider-Man 2 is easily taking the crown. This is the best video game trilogy for superhero fans. Spider-Man 2 is amazing. You should play it. You should play all the Spider-Man games. Play them in order. It's worth it. They're all fantastic.
Indeed. All right. Yeah, things will pick up here now that we're getting towards the top of our lists, I think.
Yep.
Because some of them I've talked about really recently. And my number 3, I talked about really recently. That is Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Yes, the game is that good that it belongs up here on my list for 2023. It is an absolutely perfect Mario game that does things so different from all the former games, and it does them brilliantly, perfectly, perfect execution, start to finish in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It is the best Mario Brothers game ever made, easily. It is so good. So treat yourself. If you have a Switch and pick up Super Mario Brothers Wonder, you will not be sad. Not for a single second. This game is just too good. It's got everything you want in it. Go check out Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Kim, that brings us back to you for the next game on your list.
My number 3, which I also gushed about not too long ago, is Song of Nunu. If anybody listening plays League of Legends, I am a big League of Legends fan. I don't even want to tell you how many hours I have in the game, but they have offshoots from the League of Legends characters, and one of them is Song of Nunu, which is about Nunu and Willump. The story is absolutely beautiful. It literally ties into League of Legends lore with Nunu. You know, his mother went missing, and he comes across a Yeti that he was going to try and kill, and they become best friends. And the game itself is really beautiful and so fun to play. And they did such an amazing job with it. And it was honestly, and it showcased some of my favorite characters. Like Brom is in it, and he is like one of my very favorite characters. I call him Daddy Brom. And there's Lysandra and Orin, and it was just such a beautiful, fun, fantastic game. And I feel like all the Riot Forge games kind of get overlooked, like Ruin King, completely overlooked. You know, I still have Mage Seeker, which is about Silas. I have Convergence, which is a Metroidvania with Echo. And it's just another one of their games that just kind of like gets overlooked, but it's definitely worth the play. Even if you don't play League, it is worth the play because it was such a cool game.
Yeah, I feel like you're really the only person I can think of talking about this game. So certainly it's being overlooked by the majority of people out there, and it's really cute.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Very good, Johnny. That brings us to your number 3.
My number 3 is God of War Ragnarok. I feel quite a bit stronger about God of War Ragnarok than Mike did. This game holds the record for making me cry more than any other game I've ever played. I have shed more tears playing God of War Ragnarok than any other video game that I've ever played. It's not even close.
Oh my God.
God of War Ragnarok, I have always been attached to the mythological stories. I love the stories of Odin and Yggdrasil, and I love that shit. It's my shit. And this fucking game between Mimir and Braun and Freya,
I love Mimir.
and oh my God, the characters in this game, the story in this game, the combat in this game. The first time I fought one of those Lycan werewolf characters, and you do the finisher move, and Kratos grabs him by the jaw and tears the entire front of his body off as the finisher. And you're like, this is one of the fucking greatest games ever made. I'm sorry, this game is a 9.7. It is goddamn almost perfect. I fucking love this game. God of War Ragnarok, 9.7. Holy fuck, this game is awesome.
That brings me close to the top of my list. So I'm at my number 2. The game needs little said about it. It's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The game that broke everyone's minds and trying to comprehend, A, how did they do that with the physics? And B, how the fuck are they doing that on a Switch? It's like you can jump out of the air, ride all the way down to the ground, go into a hole, and go into the entire underworld. These huge, massive levels, all on that stinky fucking Switch without so much as a loading screen. It's absolutely insane. This game's so good. And there's more story in this game than the entire Zelda series combined. It's just outstanding.
Literally, yep.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. I mean, it is just outstanding. So they took the formula set by Breath of the Wild and elevated it to a level that nobody saw coming. And yeah, it's one of the greatest games just ever built. And the actual engineering in it, I don't think of anything that is nearly as impressive. I can't think of anything for what they did with A, what they were working with, and B, what they created with their physics engine. Just completely out of control. And oh my God, the end of that game is like the best game ending of all time. So it's deservedly number 2. And one might have to ask, well, what the fuck is that number 1 then? Because Mike didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. We'll have to find out in a minute. Kim, that brings us back to you for the next game on your list.
Next game on my list is Control. I loved it. The combat was super fun. I love Jessie Faden. I think she's an amazing character. I love the crazy, kooky story. And I love it even more now that I'm playing Alan Wake 2. Because I love how it's just so cool. And Ati, can we talk about Ati? Like, best character in any game ever. Control definitely won my heart. And I would have never played it if it weren't for just finally deciding to play Alan Wake, because Alan Wake 2 is coming out. And yeah, that's definitely, I had to put it in there in my top 10 of this past year. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You love that game.
It was so fun.
If anyone goes back to Kim's VODs on her Twitch and watches her play this game, just this big shit-eating grin the entire time she's playing it. It's so
the
much
cackle whenever I threw something at somebody's face.
Yeah, there was no
so
bad
good.
times.
Have you ever played the Max Payne games, Kim?
You know, I haven't.
Oh
I
my
haven't.
God,
You would love them so much.
you're gonna fucking freak, because
I know.
they're remaking 1 and 2. When that shit
Yeah.
comes out, you are going to freak out over those games.
Yeah, I am definitely going to play them. Yeah, 100%.
And I would definitely say, for anyone that hasn't played Max Payne 1 or 2 yet, please, dear God, just wait.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
waiting,
just totally.
yes.
Totally.
If you weren't there in the time and place when those games were released, they came out at the front end of the PS2 life cycle, and they are fucking fugly.
What year
Fugly
did they
as
come
hell.
out?
Oh my God. Old as fuck.
Let's see.
I think technically retro now. I mean, they're old. You guys are both
2001.
Yeah.
2001.
Yep. Literally.
Yeah. See,
literally
that was
vintage.
I literally had like a small child running around.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to play many games. You know, I was broke, had a kid running around. And so there weren't many games I played like in this span, you know? And so I'm almost happy now because they're remaking them. So
it's so good. I still have the entire first game like cold memorized because I got it and I played nothing but the game for like a year. It was so good. Right. Johnny, number 2.
Sea of Stars. One of the single greatest JRPGs ever made. I think it deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of at least 2D JRPGs. Like if we're gonna like, obviously we know Chrono Trigger's in there. We know, you know what I mean? Like I feel like this is up there with those games. 100% in the game is a requirement, in my opinion. It drastically changes the ending of the game. And you will enjoy the game much more if you go into it from the jump knowing that I need to 100% this. I got to find all the conch shells. I have to, you know, have your list as you're exploring around. But if you do that, you are in for one of my favorite JRPGs ever made. I've ranted and raved about this game, and I've tweeted at this game, and the developers have liked our comments and I think retweeted once or twice, and the composer of this game has liked our tweet. And like I have been fawning over this game since the moment I started playing it, and I don't feel like it got enough hype. It did win. It won Indie of the Year, I believe, at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I think so, didn't it? Oh no, did it win? I can't remember.
I think it got Indie Game of the Year.
It won something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got Indie Game of the Year. Dude, it's one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. And JRPGs, they come out all the time, and we play a lot of them. This is one of the best. I cannot recommend it any higher.
I want to talk about a JRPG that didn't get its due this past year. Let's talk about Octopath Traveler 2, my number 1 game of the year. It has not changed since we did our best games episode a few months back. This is still hands down the best game that I played. Not a lot of people feel this way. That's fine, but that's where it belongs. It is the best game that I played this year. It is. I will put it ahead of everything else that was on my list. 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. The improvement from the original game is paramount. Every single thing that wasn't optimal about the first Octopath Traveler game is 100% addressed, corrected, and improved in Octopath Traveler 2. It's just, it's crack in video game form. It is so good. The stories, the little vignettes of characters are tied together so much better. And the story is just one of the best ever told. It's not quite to the Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West level, which I still consider the greatest tale told in a video game. But it's nipping at its heels. It's right there, right behind it. And yeah, so many people slept on this game. I don't know personally that many people who played it in my circle at all. I think there were so many releases this past year that the idea of taking on an 80-hour long JRPG was just too daunting for a lot of people to tackle. And they went with shorter games, you know, like with Johnny, like with you, Chained Echoes, Sea of Stars. I mean, you could beat both of those games and another one in the time that it takes to tackle Octopath Traveler 2.
Yep.
And I get that idea turns people off, that, you know, maybe games don't need to be that long. This game flew by for me because the stories, the way you're able to bounce around in it, it's just so well done. It doesn't ever feel like a drag, which is really tough to do when you have 8 independent stories running concurrently that all have to intersect like that movie Crash in the most astounding way possible at the end, and they pull it off hook, line, and sinker. I can't recommend Octopath Traveler 2 strongly enough. It is really an all-time great game that needs to be played. It needs to be played, and just don't get weirded out that it's super long. Just enjoy the ride. You can take your time with it, but it's perfection. Kim, there's only one game left on your list, and I'm not surprised that you saved it for last.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because the only reason it's last is because it was the last game I beat of 2023. But it is absolutely my number one game, Inscription. I literally just, I don't even know that I could say anything else about it that I haven't said. It's an absolute masterpiece. And I literally find myself thinking about it sometimes. And I'll be posting clips, on my socials, or I'll get a random like or a random comment on one of the Inscription clips, and I'm like, I literally can't, I cannot stress enough how Daniel Mullen's brain is wired unlike anybody else's brain. His brain is different. And that's the only thing I could say. Pony Island, Inscription, Hex, his brain is completely different. And it's worth playing his games just to get a little glimpse of how his brain works.
Yeah, and listeners, if you dip back a few episodes, you can listen to us completely spill the beans on Inscription.
Oh yeah.
We give a huge warning near the end of an episode, and just go to town. So if you're into that game and want to hear that, just flip back a few episodes. You can check that out. But yeah, just one of the again, no surprise, we're here at the end. One of the greatest games ever put together. Johnny, it all comes down to you to take us home, sir. And no one's going to disagree with you. So,
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the single greatest video game ever made. It's a 10 out of 10. I don't have a single comment negative about it. This game fucks so hard. I can't even get over. I mean, everything that Mike said doesn't even fucking scratch the surface of how incredible this game is. The fact that everything just works. The fact that you can go, I'm going to build a flying machine. So if I stick this to this and put a fan on it and okay, that kind of works. It's a little top heavy. All right, well, let me move the fan to this side. Let me put a little counterweight here. Okay, cool. I have a little flying thing. Well, it's kind of dark down here in the caves. Let me stick some lights on it. And you stick some lights on it. And then I spent this whole time going around the caves in the ugliest fucking little flying craft you've ever seen. But it worked. And it worked great. And I just had, if I was not the host of a podcast and felt the need to continually go through games, I think I'd probably still be playing Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I had to make myself stop. I think it's the greatest game ever made. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think most gamers, if you put most of us in a room and say what's the best video game franchise of all time, a lot of us are going to say Legend of Zelda, and this is the best Zelda game, period. Like, it's over. It's done. It's a wrap. This is the greatest Zelda game ever made. So by those metrics, I'm comfortable in saying that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the single greatest video game ever made.
Now, I will put one kind of closing note here, because it is rather glaring when you review our discussion. None of us had time to really sit down and play Baldur's Gate 3. I've been following it really closely, watching people stream it, and I generally do not like CRPGs. I am going to play this game. I am going to sit down and play this game.
And I have now bought a second copy on the PlayStation 5 so that me and my wife can play it a little easier on the television. So yes, I think Mike and I will both be definitely playing this game this year.
I definitely want to play it as well.
There you go.
My problem is time, because I don't feel like it's a stream game for me.
I disagree.
for me.
It would take her like 400 hours to beat.
And there's some other
Okay,
there's
that's
some
fair.
other things too, but it's for me, it's not a stream game.
Like if we use
400 hours.
I'm not
It was-
exaggerating. If we use Inscription as a baseline, right?
Right.
And the average playthrough on Inscription is like 12 hours.
17.
I think for completionist.
No.
Okay, so we'll stick with 17. I
Time
think Johnny's
to
checking it right now. It's short.
Inscription.
All right, maybe it's 14. Maybe it's 14.
I think it's 12.
12.
God damn it. Wait, but is that like average?
It takes around 12 hours to finish a single playthrough.
Yeah. So, but that's not the point. The point that I'm making is if we use that as an example, yeah, it took you about 4 times as long as some average posted on the internet. So yeah, Kim, you're
No, games
100%
usually
right.
take me about twice as long. Inscription took me extra long, but most games usually take me about twice as long
Right.
because I chat.
I think a game like Baldur's Gate, with how much time, like if you're streaming, that you spend interacting with chat, I don't think 400 hours is a. Johnny's cracking up on that number, but I don't think that's an unfair.
I can't even laugh because you're probably correct.
I don't think that's an unfair number for how long it would take.
Well, the other thing is with Baldur's Gate 3, every single thing you do, there are multiple decisions that have to be made. So I know that Kim would be like having a 20-minute conversation about how do we answer this question.
Believe it or not, that was not the case at all because I did start streaming it. And that wasn't the case. I was willy-nilly chaos in that game. Like, I was like, what? Yeah, let's kill everybody. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely was like games like that, I want to go, and like pick my answers and whatever happens, because that's like half the fun of it.
Yeah.
And so I don't put a ton of thought into my answers with games like that, which would probably make some people absolutely fucking crazy. But I was like, if there's chaos, there's chaos. I mean, to the point where like we got to the dog and one of the people I was playing with was so mad at me because I offended the dog. And I was like, all right, so we don't have the dog. Like, who cares? And he's like, you're supposed to have the dog. He was so upset with me because I was like, well, I was being realistic with the dog. What the fuck does he want me to say?
Oh, Rogie, there's the girl.
Rogue. I would never be like that with you, though, Rogue.
No,
I love you.
not Rogie. She's a sweetheart.
That's right.
She's the cutest.
But yeah, so
yes,
I do want to play it though.
She's come downstairs to find me because she's saying, "Dude, you guys have been going on long enough. It's time to let me outside."
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip closing thoughts this week because
Yes.
we've gone on, I think, long enough.
I agree.
So, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. I think that was a really good one. So, be sure to remember, you scallywags, to, especially if you're watching us on YouTube, remember to hit that like and subscribe button so you can come back and see us again. We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
I'm Johnny Paulus.
I am Kim. I love fairies with gigantic boobies. Punta
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch y'all on the flip flop.
Ooh, yeah. See ya.